Firefighter family is lucky to be alive this morning thanks to some quick thinking, off-duty San Jose firefighters and a garden hose, we understand. As flames ripped through an apartment complex near Almaden Expressway and Coleman Avenue yesterday, two firefighters happened to be nearby. They helped families to safety even though they weren't wearing any protective gear. Those firefighters join us now, Keith Weisty and Aries Ramos, in an exclusive interview. We thank you so much for joining us this morning. Did you just happen to be at the right place at the right time?
We're actually, we're actually driving by down into South San Jose to hand out flyers and talk about No on Measure V. And Aries looked out the window and he noticed a black column of smoke coming up.
And so what did you do?
We didn't hear any fire engines or sirens, so we thought maybe we should check it out, make sure somebody called it in. And people were starting to crowd around the house because it was burning, and started to go to work.
So you went to work, you started alerting neighbors. Did you actually call it in?
We saw people already calling it in. Just to save time, we started to go ahead and do the search before the fire got too much more involved. Made sure everybody was out of the house where we could get into. Secured the utilities, which shut off the gas and electric, and then started to put some water on the fire. And then Keith started to actually evacuate the exposures and make sure that everybody was out safe and keep people from going back in also.
Right, exactly. Here we see some video of, after firefighters arrived, so after, it became more involved. But I understand all you had to use was a garden hose.
We used the garden hose. We borrowed some tools from the neighbors to shut off the electricity and to shut off the gas. And you do what you got to do. That's like firefighters. We adapt and overcome and do what we have to do in order to help the people of San Jose.
It's just your instincts. You just kick in.
Pretty much, and any firefighter in the same situation would have done the exact same thing.
And it definitely helps get people out of there. Well, we thank you very much. It was wonderful to have you in the right place at the right time, as we mentioned. And of course, right here, early this morning.
Thank you.
Brent? Off duty but on the call, two San Jose firefighters have been credited this morning for helping get people out of harm's way as a fire ripped through an apartment building. It started just before 10 o'clock yesterday morning near Almaden Expressway and Coleman Avenue. Two off-duty firefighters just happened to be nearby. They saw the fire, ran up the stairs to get families out to safety. And those two heroes join us live this morning to tell us their story. Aries Ramos and Keith Weisty. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Thanks so much for being in the right place at the right time. It's kind of amazing. I guess, for you notice fire, you jump into action. Is that exactly what happened yesterday? Did you smell smoke? What did you see?
Well, ironically, we were out walking the neighborhood to let people know about the blinded vote No on Measure V, which would make it easier for the city to cut public safety services. And then we saw a big column of smoke. Didn't hear any fire engines around yet, so we thought we'd probably check, make sure everybody was safe and that the people were notified to get the engines over there.
Mm-hmm. And so you started banging on doors trying to get people out? Did you grab the garden hose? What'd you do?
What we did is we ran to the building. We made sure everybody had gotten out. We made sure all the families and everybody had gotten out. Actually, one gentleman was screaming that he needed his medicine out of one of the apartments. So I ran back in, I got his medicine out, brought it back to him, and then we proceeded to clear the rest of the building. We turned off the electricity and the gas. We cleared the neighboring building just in case that building was to catch on fire. So we handled our business. So when the first arriving engine companies arrived, and when they saw obviously when we got there was heavy fire and flames coming out of the apartment, that they could just go right to work and put out the fire.
Because you did so much of the preliminary work, without having any protective gear or anything. Right place at the right time, and luckily that you were safe as well.
Right.
All right. Well,
it was hot, and we had to duck down a few times, but we did what we had to do.
Yeah, and it was wonderful that you helped those people out, saving lives once again. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Thanks.
it. Brent?